Has Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, has my Creator accepted the prayers that I have made? Has He accepted my appeal to Him to forgive my wrongdoing, my errors, my sins, my mistakes, my shortcomings? Out of His mercy, guidance, has Jallajalaaluhu consoled me? Has Jallajalaaluhu comforted me? Has my Creator, my Sustainer, has He accepted my beseeching and seeking in Him and Him alone? Has He given me the unseen reward of that? Has Jallajalaaluhu enabled me to be suffice with little? Has He enabled me to contemplate in His reward in the hereafter? Has Jallajalaaluhu increased me in means and ways in which I have begged Him for from the beginning of my maturity? We have to consider the fact that heart, a very important unseen element, and we have to consult our hearts. The heart, something in which purity of it enables the purity of the entire body. If we feed our innocence, insincerity, to get used to that in which is undescribable, we will hate that to happen within our neighborhoods. And we see it happen in Gaza today, in Palestine today, but all over the world. There are other atrocities in Sudan. Look at that. That's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. We have migration problems. We have these political issues everywhere. Violence. Why is it that people can turn a blind eye? Why is it that people can say all of the lies and the fabrications? People can make so much money off of it, and it's justified, and they're walking around, so they have no business, no reason to see the end. No reason, absolutely no reason to see the end of the conflicts. We have to go back in time and look at the leaders of the world. Yours truly will most certainly clarify that Muhammad Israel is American born, sure. Yes, but that is not going to necessarily translate to the fact that those who can call out their own, and we had to call out our own, we have to call out our own because we know our own are most stubborn. Today, African, Black, American, in the capital of the Confederacy, where slavery in America slavery in America was a norm, and physical slavery is what we're talking about. We have to know our history. Those who were in charge deprived and utilized and physically exploited. Somewhere along the lines between then and now, mind you that those who wrote the Constitution thought that slavery would last forever. Mind those who understand that when the time came, they understood that the physical form could not remain, but somehow the unphysical, the unseen means can remain forever. And if everybody decides to come on board with the People Republic of the Shahadatu Allah ilaha illallah wa anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and call that out first and foremost in every descendant, everyone who was impacted, whether black or white, should be given adequate resources of reparation. The Khalifa of Jallajalaaluhu himself says indeed that this will be the beginning of the end for all of the bullies of the world, those who decide out of greed and ignorance, out of arrogance and bigotry, out of hypocrisy, out of that in which Iblis la'natullahi alayhi made them content with, those Iblisi allies and those Iblisi forces, particularly the spiritual and mystical. Jibril Brigade is upon your trail at this time, and we're letting you know and making you aware of the fact that this is the beginning of the long-term era and of the everlasting era of righteousness, justice, and equality for every soul known to Jalla Jalaaluhu, declaring the thin declaration of faith, which is Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lahu wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and acting upon it. Umar ibn Abdul Aziz says also, it is based on obligations, prescriptions, limits, and sunnahs, which are examples. Whomever acquires all of them has acquired perfect faith. Whomever has not acquired all of them has not acquired perfect faith. If I live, I shall explain it to you so that you might act upon it. But if I die, then I am not eager to stay with you. When we understand acting upon the twin declaration of faith first and foremost, and making sure that all of the I's are dotted and all of the T's are crossed, we will liberate these lands from the oppressors, and we will give the justice, the truth, and the peace, equality, power back to those whom are righteous and righteous doers, aids, and assisting members. We are not here to encourage, we're not here to aid lies and fabrications. We're not here to assist aggressors and bullies. We're not here to empower anyone or anything that or who has to do with fabricated lifestyles. There are so many different aspects that one can do righteousness, and when one or so many as a party, as a group, decide to abandon that in which is righteous and go for that in which is not, then that is not something that we are here to encourage or assist in any way. In fact, our movement is here to disrupt it, if anything, and that is a clear and simple fact. If one can just imagine going after that in which is righteous and that in which is pure, going for peace and fighting for peace, fight to eliminate poverty, fight to eliminate ignorance, particularly in certain perspectives, fight to eliminate discrimination. Why is it okay to kill 40,000? Why is it okay to turn a blind eye on that? Is because you're living by that Constitution. The Constitution, which was written by people who were thinking of everlasting slavery. Today, so many different types of slaveries exist. So many different types today exist. Did he? Do we know about Did he do it? That type of slavery is most recently, but 15 years ago, we were mentioning in the West End this economic slavery, can you imagine this? Economic slavery. Today is undeniable, and so many other types of slaveries. You don't call out the first slavery, where you've lost, people were enslaved for 400 years, but millions were lost just on the way getting here. Millions were lost on the way, just on the ship. You don't want to talk about any reprimandation for that. You don't want to talk about the violation of males and females and breeding. You think that was okay too. You don't even want to talk about that during the time of slavery. You don't want to talk about depriving and having any type of education, completely brainwashed, not able to read or write. You say that's also equal to nothing. Yet you want to smile and get the money from the same people. Taxes and so many different types. There are too many types of taxes. It's unacceptable. And then inflation. Not only is there taxes, but prices are still going up. Doesn't matter which one of you are there. This Constitution did not have any rights for me or and those who are living today under the same system. That's the problem. We have to call it out for what it is. These elderly, senior citizens need to all retire. Even those who have been in government for an entire generation and you haven't lived among the people, the commoners, you need to retire also. You've been in government some crazy amount of years, and it's just, why is that contradicting to your own constitution? So it's a double, just a double doctrination and indoctrination at the same time. We can decide what we want to do to the Constitution that was written by the so-called forefathers. We can do that. And we can also decide to put whatever weight we want onto the same Constitution that had no rights to the people that are supporting and that we're expecting to give us, or their numbers. We just make sure that we're in certain areas and we're good to go. We all have to be urging ourselves as Amirul Mu'mineen, the door of the city of knowledge, alayhi salatu wassalam, the one who longs for paradise will turn away from physical desires, and the one who fears hellfire will avoid haram things. The one who has least interest of worldly gains will be less affected by calamities, and the one who expects death will hasten to do good things. This was a brief reminder after what has been described as the domestic and the foreign fronts, including economic, social, political, mystical, and spiritual actions and movements of the Quranic declarationary movement of the People's Republic of the Shahadatu ilaha illallah wa anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And our last supplication, our last statement is all praises are due and due to the sole creator of the entirety of all that exists. And peace be upon you, the children of Adam.